So I've been watching and reading a lot of books on happiness, lectures on happiness, and a bunch of things on happiness, observing and talking to happy people. And I want to share with you some of the key things I've found that may help your levels of happiness. So first off, I do think that we all have a genetic range of happiness up and down. For a scale of 1 to 10, maybe some people it's a 5 to 8. Others, it's just naturally a 2 to 4. And some of it's genetic, some of it is just based off how we were brought up and how we were made to think based off who rubbed off on us in life, our friends and whatever. And so some of these perspectives, mindsets, and behaviors are toxic or conducive to depression. And so there's certain things you can start doing to rewire your brain and think differently and look at things differently. So there's a bunch, but I just want to cover some of the big ones. The first is self-pity. You want to cut this out, almost like a cancer. Excessive amounts is not good. Basically, it's stuff like, oh my goodness, my life sucks. I wish I had this. Oh my goodness. And basically, what you want to do is remove your focus, which is very important, what you focus on from the negative to the positive, the things that you should be grateful for. And it takes time. Positivity is a muscle that needs to be exercised, and where you focus on and dwell on, especially for people who are just naturally like this, it's very, very tough to do. And so you have to start removing yourself from that. And again, also sometimes you are focusing on things that are just not very healthy. Whatever it is, maybe it's just things that are not really, I mean, sure, that person has a better life, but you don't need to just constantly focus on that and get more resentful and envious. So that's another huge thing. And so you have to start cutting this out as soon as possible. And in terms of self-pity and envy, which I think are correlated, you have to start realizing that, okay, some people have it good, but that's no reason to beat yourself up. A lot of people have it worse than you. Be grateful for the things that you do have, and your problems are oftentimes more trivial than you think. For sure, they are, when you look at the greater scheme of the problems that people on earth face. And it's very tough to wrap your head around when you're in that state. So it takes time and a lot of mental rewiring, trust me, from self-experience, to slowly start moving away from that and rewire your focus. Another thing is a positive mindset. Now, this doesn't mean be unrealistic, but understanding that you can start changing your lifestyle and taking action and making things better, and start doing that. Another thing is realizing that in the moment you can be happy as of right now. I guarantee it. And so if you're focusing on, oh, if I had this or if I had that, perhaps they may make things better. You can take action and progress towards creating those things, but oftentimes, some of those things are not truly what will bring you happiness. And so oftentimes, if you're looking at maybe women or money, to a certain extent, if you're like downright broke, it can help. Or you're completely not where you want to be with women, getting better with women can help. But realize that along the journey, while you're progressing, you can be fairly happy right now. Perhaps not as happy as you can be once you achieve these things, but to a certain extent you can be happy to a certain extent. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a bunch of other things, and I guess the last big thing I want to say is social interactions. This is something I think it's very important as well. Making friends, developing strong positive relationships with people, and the more people, I guess, the better. I say that in quotes because you don't want to make fake friends. And again, there's a lot of science and studies shown to support this. So these are just some of the things that can be done. Again, there's other things in terms of how you view the past, the future, what you dwell on, what you choose to focus on. Long story short, certain things in the past you want to forgive, you want to move on from, you don't want to let it affect you. Future as well. And so that's all we want to say in a nutshell. So again, I think this is very, very important because although there are things that you can change with the external world that can help, um, and I do think I'm not one of those people that think that everything external that's materialistic will not help in your happiness. I'm not so extreme. I do think that, you know, certain levels, especially, you know, coming from experience, and I'm still working on it, like problems with women, problems with money, all that sort of stuff. I do think that helping it to a certain extent is very valuable and can attribute, but not excessively. Not, it won't like solve everything. And again, there are people who have no women in their life. They've declared celibacy, or they don't have much money. They've declared vows of poverty, and they are very, very happy. So again, a lot of it maybe it has to do with your wiring, your thinking, your perception, a lot of things. And that boils down to my final point. I know I said final point already, but there's a bunch of stuff in terms of rewiring and perspectives and mindsets. Again, it's a lot of stuff that I'm going through right now. You know, things you can't think, or not really not think about, but can't dwell on or focus on. But the last thing, focus on the present. Be present in the moment. Take your present moment right now, and sometimes you have to stop from thinking about the past. Stop thinking or planning about the future, and enjoy the present moment as it is. Enjoy it, embrace it, and have the most fun. I think the times where I am the most joyful are either when I'm just with people who are just all around very happy and having a lot of fun, and they bring a lot of fun to me, genuine fun, or they make me laugh, or it's just a joke that's just exceptionally funny, which is rare. And then the other thing is just when I'm dancing to I almost have to, there's a little bit of force to it, but once I force myself to just like start dancing and having fun with the song, I get engrossed in the song, and it's just very, very enjoyable in that moment. And I'm just very present, not really thinking about anything else, and just at that moment just enjoying the song. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't want to get too deep or whatever. And so I do think there is a bit of wiring even in this, because there is a certain level of standards like that you can lower in terms of having fun and enjoying yourself. For me especially, like, you can have more fun than you think if you just lower your standards. That's my personal experience. That's one of my personal things that I found that can help. For you, it may be something different. And what I mean by that is I've observed people who have a lot of fun, and they're not so picky about what it is that they're doing that makes them have so much fun. So it's one of those things. Again, think of, there's children in Africa right now that are having a blast just playing with sticks on the ground. Just think that through. So perhaps based off the internet, media, and so forth, you have been warped into just like thinking that, oh, I cannot really enjoy myself or be happy or this or that unless I'm doing something exceptionally exciting like skydiving, or something ridiculous like playing this extremely expensive or really amazing video game. It's like, okay, that can work too, but lower yourself, because again, for me especially, you fall into those moments, and there may be plenty at work or wherever where you're not excited. Perhaps that means changing your job, which, you know, is a thing as well. But also it could mean just like